In a Ghanaian home, we don't waste food, but honestly, I got tired of eating rice and stew every day, so I turned this leftover stew into something better. This leftover stew made better jollof, easy to put together. So if you have some stew leftover, join me and let's put together some jollof really quickly. But if you don't have any leftover stew, don't worry, I got you. I've got a lot of jollof recipes on my channel. I'll include some at the end of the video so you can try them from scratch. So I've added my leftover goat meat stew into the hot pan that's already heated up nicely. So you can already hear it starting to sizzle a bit. I'm going to let it warm up through slowly for a few minutes so all the flavors come back together. And this stew has so much flavor and depth in it already, so there's no need to go in with any additional seasonings. I'll then go in with the rice and then we'll build it into our jollof rice here. And I'm using basmati rice for this. It holds flavor really well and gives a nice texture for jollof. At this point, I'm just balancing the stew to rice ratio as I go, making sure the stew coats nicely to the rice properly so every grain picks up on that deep flavor without it being too wet or too dry. Alright, so once the rice goes in, we're just going to fold it into the stew gently, making sure that every grain gets coated properly. And I usually make my stew in bulk, so after a few days of eating rice and stew, I start getting tired of it the same way. So instead of just reheating over and over, I decide to switch things up and use the leftover stew as a base for jollof. It already has all the flavor built in: the tomatoes, onions, pepper, garlic, everything. So it just makes sense to turn it into something new. And honestly, it ends up giving the jollof a deeper, richer taste because the flavor is already well developed. So I've added some low sodium chicken broth just to loosen it up and build a bit more depth. I've also seasoned it with a little salt to taste. And at this point, you can taste it and adjust. And if it feels a bit flat, you can go in with some more seasonings to layer the flavor. But honestly, for me, the stew was already built well, so salt was really all I needed. So once everything is mixed in and there's enough moisture in the pot, we're just going to cover it and let it do its own thing on low heat so the rice can fully absorb all that flavor. And I check back after a few minutes to give it a quick mix. I'll then turn the heat down even lower and let it continue cooking slowly for the rest of the time. That way it cooks evenly without burning and all that flavors properly settle into the rice. And this part is totally optional, but I love adding a bit of veggies to my jollof. So I'm going to chop up some carrots and bell peppers and then throw them in for extra color, texture, and a little freshness in every bite. So I'm going to quickly stir fry the carrots and bell peppers in my heated pan for a few minutes. I'll also add in some chopped onions, season it with some salt and beef seasoning, and then we'll stir fry them just enough to soften them slightly while keeping a bit of a crunch. This helps bring out their natural sweetness and adds another layer of flavor and texture to the jollof. Alright, after about 3 to 5 minutes of stir frying, once the veggies are slightly softened but still have a bit of crunch to it, I'll go ahead and transfer them straight into the jollof rice. That way they finish cooking with the rice and blend into all that flavor as everything comes together. And friends, just look at how delicious this looks. This is what leftover stew can do. The aroma alone is already insane. I also have some leftover chicken, so I'm going to warm it up with the rice and veggies for about 3 minutes just so everything comes together nicely and is ready to serve. And that's it. Quick, simple, and full of flavor. Leftover stew turned into something completely new. If you try this, let me know how yours turns out. And if you don't have any leftover stew, no worries. I've got plenty jollof recipes on my channel, so check those out and try it from scratch. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay safe and blessed. Always.